and welcome to another exciting episode of Can It Take a K26, the show where we take a variety of blasters and see if they can be upgraded using a K26 spring, and if not, what can they be upgraded with? I am your host, Captain Xavier, and as promised last week, this week we're going to be looking at the Adventure Force Tactical Strike line, which is their rival line. Our first contestant is therefore the Adventure Force Tactical Strike Sentry. This was released in 2019 and is obviously their take on the Kronos. So it is a internal magazine rival pistol. It loads from the front here, top prime, has a grip safety of sorts. It looks kind of like a rev trigger, but that is the safety, since apparently these blasters are required to have some kind of a mechanical safety, because all of them do. I don't know if there's a law involved there, if they just decided to add them, but all of the rival blasters have some kind of a safety. The X-Shot ones had a safety, and these ones have a grip safety. So that's interesting. Let's go ahead and get the numbers on its performance stock, and then we'll see if we can modify it, and if so, what that does to the performance. To the range. All right, there were no claims of FPS on the boxes that I could tell. They just said performance FPS, so we're going to see what that translates to in Adventure Force terms. 70, 70, 70, 69, 66. I am not impressed. That is decidedly less than anything you'll see from either Nerf or X-Shot. So, let's go take it to the range and see if I can hit anything with it. Alright, we're here at the range with the sun glinting off of my melon. We're shooting at a target that's 25 feet. We also have one that's back there at 50 feet, though I doubt we'll reach that far. Let's see if I can hit a target at 25 feet with this thing. Oh, hey, I got it. Well, that one goes over. So, 2 hits, 2 others dropped kind of short, and then 1 arced over. And I was kind of having to arc him in even to hit at 25, so kind of wimpy. Kind of wimpy. See if we can make it better. Well, the performance is decidedly lackluster, so let's pop it open and see if we can make it any better. Let us see if it can take a K26. All right, we are in, and it looks an awful lot like a Kronos in here. I mean, similar catch mechanism and everything, which is promising, potentially. Big plunger tube. Not a great seal on said plunger tube. And that is a fairly beefy spring. But it's not K26 beefy. So let's beef it up. K26 will fit on the plunger tube, or plunger rod, which is the problem we had in the X-Shot blasters, is that it wouldn't. How much pre-compression are we dealing with here? Quite a bit. I think we can get away with just making it as long as the plunger rod in order to avoid issue of insufficient compression, which may still prove to be a problem, but we're going to find out. Nice long section of K26 there. We're going to put it in with the flat coil on that side, and we are putting in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 coils, if you don't count the flat one, which you shouldn't. Can it catch? Yes. Just getting barely enough compression there to catch. We actually could get a little bit more, but I don't want to because we're going to need the extra space, I suspect. Make sure everything is still back in here correctly. Get this on there properly. Okay, that went in fairly smoothly. All right. Let's see if, when we put it back together, if it will prime and catch and all of that, or if the shell will prove insufficient to the task. Alright, I got the shell back together for the most part. Now we'll get it buttoned up after a word from our sponsor.
Pillow.
I swear he said that before. Alright, back together. Let's see if I can get it to prime. Oh, my hands are slippery. Ah! Come on. Ah! No! Ah! It caught. It's definitely going to need some kind of a T-pole, or for my hands to not be covered with lubricant from the plunger tube. All right, let's see what kind of a performance difference it makes. All right, now with K26, let's see if it improved it at all. 122. 121. 119. 122. 115. So yeah, how about that? I am impressed. I am now impressed. All right, let's take it to the range and see if I can ping that target a little bit. All right, well, unfortunately, the battery died in my wireless mic receiver, and so the audio for the range test was lost. But the results were exactly what I expected. I was able to hit the target at 25 feet just fine, but while I could now reach the 50-foot target, I couldn't actually hit it because the hop-up was too erratic at those velocities, which is exactly what we've seen in any rival blaster. Past about 100 FPS, the hop-up becomes a problem, and so I would need to reduce the hop-up probably if I wanted to take advantage of those higher velocities, which of course I would. The max range I was able to get out of this one was closer to 80 feet, up in the 80 feet, fairly flat, which is a significant improvement over what it originally was because I could barely even reach 50 feet flat before, 50 feet arced, whereas with the K26, it's hitting 80, 85 flat, which is impressive, just very inaccurately. So once the hop-up is dealt with, modified, I think this could actually have some potential. There is one big flaw in the design that I will go into in the slightly unfair reviews. But let's move on to our next contestant after these messages. All of the K26 used on this series was donated by Out of Darts. Check out his new website at outofdarts.com for all your Nerf modding needs. Our next contestant is the Adventure Force Tactical Strike Liberator. Liberator was also released in 2019 and is, as it would appear, an internal magazine pump action style blaster. Very, very nice. I really, really like the ergonomics of this. I think it's very comfortable. I like the size of it. I like the function of it. I will go into greater detail in that in another video. But we want to know what its stock performance is, so let's go take a look at those numbers. All right, this thing will hold 10, but I'm only putting 5 in it to get the numbers. It also doesn't have any range claims other than performance, so we'll see what that means. 75, 81, 81, 79, 81, or 80. So consistently a little bit more powerful than the pistol, but still 10 FPS below what you see with Nerf and 20 below what we were seeing with X-Shot. So not the powerhouse option, but it has some other features that I like I'll cover in a different video. All right, again, let's take it to the range and see if I can actually hit anything with it. All right, back in the range, sun still glinting off my melon. Now we're going to try the Liberator at the 25-foot target and see if we can hit anything. Yes. Yes, we can. They all went inside the square, and I had 3 hits, including a headshot. I'll call that a win. All right. See if we can make it better. All right, so it's a little bit better than the Sentry, but not a whole lot. So let's see how much we can improve it. All right, so it was a little bit better than the Sentry was stock, and we saw how much of a difference K26 made to the Sentry. Let's see what kind of a difference it makes to this one. I'm concerned about the priming mechanism, but other than that, I'm hopeful. So let's find out if this thing can take a K26. Well, the internals are decidedly different. Completely different catch mechanism. And, okay, I'm less worried about that priming mechanism. It is still slightly offset, and so we run the risk of this connection not being strong enough, but we are gonna give it a try, obviously. Oh, there is why it's beefier than the pistol. It is a decidedly bigger spring, which may or may not be in our favor, as it might, if it's a bigger diameter, we might not be able to get K26 on that rod. We're going to find out, though. Oh. Yeah, so it'll fit over the priming rod, but it won't fit over that end cap. We could cut that end cap down, but then it also doesn't fit over the plunger head section. I'm going to try something. I am going to cut that off so that I can get that much more, but I'm just going to go ahead and have it press up against that and hope we're still able to get enough compression. Alright. That's off of there. Now we need to figure out how long we need it to be. And we want it to be right about the length where those notches are. We're going to have it flattened coil down. Okay, there we go. That will give us a little bit of pre-compression. Hopefully not so much that it won't catch. Alright. Shell went back together easy enough. Let's get this thing screwed back together and test it. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Phantom.
He's definitely repeating himself. I need to get more words from that man. All right, let's see if it will prime. It will not. It will not. Oh, this is gonna be unfun. This thing's gonna sproing. Yep. Not getting enough compression. Not by much, though. So, if we, first of all, take off the squared end, that will give us a little bit. Not a lot, but we don't need a lot. Package! Package dealt with. All right, let's try to get this back together before I lose all my sunlight. Ah. Oh. So that is a no. I'm going to go with a no at this point. Because we're still a half an inch. We'd need to cut off at least 2 more coils. And at that point, The spring's going to be way too short and rattly, and we probably have less power than we had to begin. No, that's a fairly wimpy spring, actually. However, I'm going to try something different. That will work. I have added the spring from the Sentry. It is small enough that it fits inside without interfering, and I think I'm still getting enough compression. Because if you look at that, oh, maybe not. Nope, definitely. I'm definitely getting enough compression. Okay. Will it catch? I don't know. But it won't be a matter of compression that's keeping it from catching, so. All right. Aha! That is, oh, I'm happy now. All right, let's put some rounds through it. It's catching. It's not so hard to prime that it's even uncomfortable. It's a good, pleasant prime still all clicky, but it definitely sounds like it's got some more beef. Let's find out. All right, it doesn't have K26, but it's been doubled up with the Sentry spring that came out, so let's see what we're getting now. 106, 111, 111, 109, 111. Yes! That is an improvement. That is still usable. That is still functional. It doesn't feel like it's going to break. Fabulous. Let's go see if I can hit anything with it. All right, same thing here. The audio cut out for the firing demonstration, but the results were exactly the same as with the Sentry. At 25 feet, it's really easy to hit. It's really fast and accurate, but at 50 feet, the hop-up becomes so erratic, you really can't hit anything. Though, again, the maximum range was upper 80s. I think it was getting, well, mid-80s. I think I got 84 was the farthest, and that was firing flat. That wasn't arced. Again, you would need to fiddle with the hop-up, probably grind it down a little bit, sand it down a little bit, if you wanted to remain as accurate as it was before, which wasn't great. Rival's not great outdoors. It's designed for indoors. So, yeah, definitely very, very functional. I'm very happy with how this one came out with that doubled spring. The prime is not bad. It doesn't feel like it's going to break. I really, really like how this one came out. It does, again, have one fairly serious flaw that I will talk about in the slightly unfair review that gets featured, which will probably be next month. I will cover the internal magazine pump action rival blasters. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, let's recap. So for those of you just tuning in or who just skipped to the end to see the results, that was a yes for the Adventure Force Sentry, and that was a no for the Adventure Force Liberator, but yes to being doubled up with the spring that came out of the Sentry. Both of them are now hitting considerably higher. This one was hitting 50 FPS higher. It's getting 120s, where this one got about 40, well, actually, I guess it would be about 30 better and was hitting in the 110s. So, yeah, significant improvement in both. Of course, the accuracy falls apart at the higher velocities because they're rival, but that could be hopefully dealt with by tinkering with the hop-up to see if we can't get a decent range. I would like to be able to accurately hit something at 50 feet with these, and right now I can't. 25 feet, there's just no missing. The velocities are such and the accuracy is such that at 25 feet, they're going to hit their target, which makes them decent HVZ blasters, except for one flaw that they both have. Different flaws in each of them, but they both have one flaw that this one I might be able to fix it with. This one, not so much. But I will be discussing that in slightly unfair reviews that I will cover both rival pistols and rival pump-action internal magazine blasters in the next couple of weeks, hopefully. So stay tuned for that. If you have suggestions for what you would like to see in future episodes, I do have some blasters lined up, but I'd love to hear what you guys would like to see. And thank you for watching.